Man, it is Juggernaut July. I'm still in June mode, man. I'm still in that jubilant June mode, but now we're stepping into a new era, an upper echelon, and it's exciting times. I call this sacred, or scared is what happens when the sacred gets scrambled. I think it's really important that we start to understand that actual download, right? Hold on, live chat, all message are visible. Okay, I'm in my live video, so thank you. Okay, so apparently my exam is gonna happen at the end of the month, okay? That's what my mom just told me. So that gives me enough time to prep for this whole month, to stay focused, to stay on track, to make sure that everything shall unfold as it should, you know? It's such an important time for us right now. I've been tapping into this book by Anna Dia Judith, Eastern Body, Western Mind. And that's where I got the download, the quote of, you know, the word scared is just sacred, scrambled. It's not in its, you know, order and so forth. How do I close this? Strange. I can't see the chat. 1 second. Very weird. That's so strange, guys. Anyway, it is what it is. That's the mentality, okay? So you are the center point of infinity, okay? There is no past, there is no future, there is only now. And so in this video today, I wanted to talk about how do we have an actual strong auric field that leads us towards this sense of fearlessness. And when we incarnate, our mind is basically wiped, okay? And we lose our memory of our own divinity. Hi there, Orikuro from Utah, nice. So, very cool, very sweet. I like it. Do you guys remember? James White or whatever he was called? He was like famous on Vine a little while ago. And it's funny, man. He was a meme. I mean, his life is tragic, right? If you guys ever know, James White is like this Chinese guy from the Vine days, right? And one of his catchphrases used to be, very cool, very sweet, I like it. Very handsome, very nice, very cool, right? I like it. And that energy is just so funny, so positive, right? You know what I mean? Like, I mean, besides a very weird and troubled self-image, you know, an avatar that he's created, I think he's a revolutionary, honestly. Because he has a troubling story. If you follow his Twitter stories, he's like complaining about a divorce and like he can't keep his kid or whatever. He's out of pocket, yes, I think, but we can also learn something from him, okay? I know that, you know, chalking things up to fate is very common in mainland China, but his idea of everything is fate, you know? It kind of reminded me of our Stoic principle of amor fati, you know? I love my fate. Whatever happens, I accept it. It's a part of my life, so why wouldn't I enjoy it? Why wouldn't I accept it and embrace it rather than creating more resistance towards what's happening? Okay? So, I think James White, I mean, first of all, how did you even come up with this name, James White? James is from James Bond. Cage, James Cage White, right? Cage is from Nicolas Cage. And apparently White is because he likes white women and he wanted a white girlfriend, right? So that's how he came up with his name. It kind of reminds me of also the story of the NLP creator, right? He had a neurology book and linguistics book in his back seat when a cop asked him, what do you do? He said, neuro-linguistic programming, right? Live long the white man. Bro, hey, Ryan G, do you know James White? The guy from Vine, right? Very cool, very swag. I like it. You know? Man, that guy was so... I don't know, man. He's just different. He's just a meme, right? And I think we can all learn something from that. Yeah, just look up... actually, could we show some? I don't know. Can I wrestle him? Bro, I don't know. He seems like he has like maybe some mental disabilities or something, so I don't even think he'd be able to fight, but he definitely needs some toughening up. But I like the fact that he came up with this catchphrase, man. He would just pick up objects like Listerine. Oh, very cool, very swag. I like it. That was it. That was his video, right? And I think that subtlety, that simplicity with which he did that, you know, whatever his outcome was, I don't know, right? He's just sharing his life, little anecdotes or whatever, posting about it. But besides that, I think it reminds me that, you know, no one's coming to save you, bro, right? That's Juggernaut July. Because a Juggernaut is absolutely potent, powerful. It doesn't let anything get in its way. I don't even think the superhero Juggernaut would be defeated by anything besides what gives him his power. Like if that creature stopped giving him his power, then he would stop. So the way you look at this as an adept, as you're on this path working, is look at this like the moment I stop giving energy to the divine, I get cut off and I get low in my energy, right? So it's like, are you a Krishna Bhakti? Are you a Jesus devotee? Are you a this? Are you a that? Well, I'm a Bhakti towards the divine. Let me say that. Okay, let's start there. Because most Buddhism, right, old Buddhism, shows men are laying prostrate in the search of escape, right? Kind of going away from facing, you know, it's like spiritual alleviation of pain rather than a virility that we stand for at Primal Sutra, right? So I think another download today was the whole noble equals no bull, right? No bullshit. So to be noble, you have to have no gunk or like, you know, things holding you back from this higher dimension, right? And once you get to a higher form of freedom, a higher dimension, akalika, timeless, then you can start to access this different path working, right? I always ask myself, Bhakti's commitment, so I decide to be committed to my spiritual theme, absolutely. And I asked myself, you know how, what would Jesus do, right? I say, what would Uncle Makara do, okay? So I'm Sumed, okay? AKA Zoom, but this is Woomed, okay? WWUMD, okay? Woomed, okay? It's not like Fivio Foreign or something. Woomed, okay? WWUMD. So what would Uncle Makara do? So if you watch and think, what would a Hindu sea monster do, right? Jesus would flip tables and kick ass, absolutely, right? See, he's not all love and light. He has that badass nature to him too. But I think spirituality loves to portray very hypersensitive, feminized versions of ascended masters, you know? And I think this is what's holding a lot of people back, or at least confusing people. Because you're one of those guys probably watching and you do everything, right? You're like, I do spirituality, I do comedy, I also run races, I also do this other thing, but it's not integrated. It's not like combined through that your spirituality is your life and you can integrate all these aspects within spirituality, like spirituality as a glue, right, towards your greatest experience. So don't let any negative thoughts take space in your mind. Like, don't even allow it to enter. You get what I mean? You have to challenge it immediately in Juggernaut July. Like, you got to learn that your mind changes when you tell it to change, right? It's not going to change irregardless. You have to domesticate it. Kind of like when you get a pet. I don't know if you guys have ever taken care of a pet. I used to have goldfish, I remember back in the day. And sometimes I'd just take care of the neighborhood cats and so forth. But besides that, you know, shut up, BBA. Okay, besides that, you got to learn how you are going to bridge the subject and the object together, right? Because that is flow state, when your action and awareness merge. When that happens, there is a spurt or an expression of life that takes place. So all Hindu scriptures actually say to transcend the mind and the intellect, right? Yet look at the Indians nowadays, chasing after academics, labels, validation, reputation, and all these different things, okay? Now, I took some notes from the Esoteric Enigma Hub. He's like the guy who breaks down, like, you know, divine equals, no mind, absolutely. Divine is equaling dive in, etc., right? So the irony of it, right? It's like, all the Asians, right, tell you to, in the scriptures, in the Tao, they tell you, get out of your intellect, get out of your mind, right? And then the actual reality of it is, hey, these Chinese or Asians, South Asians, you know, they're working so hard and pushing day in and day out, right? To just get that one like certification or degree or lectureship or whatever they're aiming for, right? And that's what I'm aiming for too. I know it's very much of a challenge, but I accept that challenge. You see, it's not so much I'm doing it for myself. I'm understanding, I'm creating empathy for other people in this situation now. As a spiritual teacher, I've got to know what you guys go through. So I put myself through the fire. I take myself through the storm. Okay? And so Matthew 6:10, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Okay, as within, so without. So what's happening in heaven, what's happening on earth. Okay? So really start to understand whatever happens on heaven or thought happens on earth, also rearranged as heart or emotional plane. Okay? So whatever happens on heaven or thought happens on earth or emotions. So your thoughts connect to your emotions, which link to your actions. Okay? So that means that, you know, in French they say je suis Uncle Makara. Okay, that's what I would say. Je suis Uncle Makara. I am Uncle Makara. But je suis sounds like Jesus, right? Je suis. Jay-Z. Jay-Z? No, not Jay-Z. Fuck Jay-Z. Okay? Je suis is Jesus. Okay? I am. So in French, I mean. So you have to become Christ by sacrificing your lower nature and then becoming your true self. Which is why this month we're like dropping all of our vices, you know, or crutches, the things that we lean on, right? Bad habits or, you know, destructive tactics, okay? Imagine Uncle M with long hippie hair. Yeah. Right? So the land flowing with milk and honey is the Holy Grail, right? Magnetic and electric, electromagnetic creatures. So these are the two, you know, sacred brain fluids. You know, your spine, if you look at your spine, it's actually a river, okay? It's a river to what? The Holy Land or whatever, right? So even a symbol like baptism is actually, you're going from non-physical towards the best physical possible, right? So you're actually emptying. It's almost like a cup holding water is the way I'd describe it, right? So the cup is the root chakra. The water flowing is the sacral. And then that energy of emotions, without emotions, we can't access these higher, you know, ways to transmute that energy as they become more structured in the solar plexus, right? So it's like a cup holding water. Okay, think about it like this. Your spine is a river, and when you operate at the reptilian part of the brain, you connect it to hell or the heel, you start to struggle a little bit because you're only thinking in images and like advertisements and, you know, different things like this, like things that are just shocking you in that way. So, but if you're operating on the mammalian part of the brain, therefore the heart of the earth, which is more so not hell but earth, right? And then you can access that metaphorical part of the brain, which might be a subtle part of the brain, which is more metaphorical, right? And higher up and more transcendent in its thinking, and maybe shuts off certain brain regions too, you know? We think it's like, let's unlock 100% of our brains, but what the science shows us, we're actually turning parts of our brain off to tap into flow state, okay? It's not like the Lucy movie, how it's like all activating. I mean, sometimes psychedelics does that, or like weird near-death does that, like random sparks in the brain start showing up, right? New dendrite connections. But I think that also happens how well you can handle chaos, how well you can handle pressure, right? Someone who's facing pressure might just burn out. You know, someone else facing pressure, it'll make them superhuman, right? It'll take them along and really engage their life in some way. So it's kind of sad, guys, because consciousness is oneness. It has no division. However, we live in a soul system. And that soul system that's running, getting good at the right kind of suffering, right? Because suffering is still you sitting and, you know, scrolling on your iPad for hours. Like, that's another kind of suffering. And another kind of suffering is like pushing heavy weight at the gym, right? That's suffering. But it's gonna give you a good outcome, a mild pleasure or a blissfulness afterwards, right? As you feel more stronger, more energetic. So choose the right suffering is the law, right? And so Saturn or Satan is running the simulation, which is the soul system. It's not the solar system for us, it's actually the soul system, right? Yeah, awesome, Prosper. So we started in the stars, right? So Saturn, I mean, think of it, Lord of the Rings, okay? What does that mean? Lord of the Sphere, okay? And we're carbon being 666, right? The beast, as they call it, right? And also 6 carbons, right? And so forth. Corona means crown or ring. Crown, like Saturn. Nintendo, GameCube, Black Cube, Kaaba, Saturn. Think outside the box is to think outside the cube, Saturn. All religions are based on Saturn, and they respect Saturnalia. Okay, this is why the true spiritual gifted individuals, right, who understand this, it's a raising of the consciousness, raising of sexual energy, or as this esoteric hub said, resurrection of Jesus is raising the erection, resurrection, right? I thought that was a bit outlandish. However, I think at the same time, you know, yeah, you are raising the root towards the crown and so forth, and you're able to, you know, nut up the spine, so to say, okay? And yeah, but your spirit shares a spiral of energy, which is why it shares the same root word, right? So even your nose is like a torus field, a hyperboloid, right? That kind of, and there's seeds at the center of an apple, right? So you create this toroidal field, right, as you're breathing. The same from your heart. It's like this infinity symbol, right? Infinity is through your nostrils, right? Anulom Pilom. It's the process of spiraling energy, clearing up the center, aligning again. Okay, this is why breath work, meditation, this is why it's so powerful. Okay, I mean, there's so many different ways that you can raise your actual auric field. One of the best ways I found is meditating under a tree. Hands down. Hands down. If you've ever meditated under a tree, you understand what I'm talking about, okay? If you've ever sat and just meditated under a tree, no matter who's looking, whatever, it doesn't matter, right? Little ladybug crawling up your arm, it doesn't matter. You're just so focused in on what's happening to you, right? I remember during the time I was filming like a little reel, like a little a fly would come by me. Now the flies, be careful of the flies. Remember, Lord of the Flies is associated with Beelzebub, that energy, that negative energy, okay? You got to be very careful of those flies, man, that come into your eye, that try to go into your nose, that try to go into your ear. They're trying to bring you towards the darker powers. It's a reminder from the darker energies that they're trying to pull you back, right? That's why a lot of people who are dirty, or there's a lot of like rotting things, there's flies around, right? So a system by itself leads to decay, but as a tribe, we can succeed because we're sharing ideas, thought forms, and they're expanding out, right? We're creating a system. Funny, was just about to ask you, what's the Juggernaut thing about and how to use it towards playing with resistance? Right. Yeah, so let's say that, you know, during the caveman times, you just approach a cave woman, right? You had no fear of being beaten up by the tribal leader or whatever. But nowadays, you go up and your amygdala sparks up this kind of, you know, many, many years of evolution, right? That gives you that same fear, that resistance. So, you know, when it comes up, you immediately have to test it and challenge it. Let's go, right? Instead of cowering down to that little whiny, you know, inner critic voice, oh, I'll do it later. I don't know. That's not right. I can't really have it. Just go, right? Boom. That's the time that we go. And that's actually what we learn through the beast process in IMC as well, is like just that mentality to shut the mind off. It's all in a state of mind, right, is what we learned. And so Juggernaut June is kind of that same idea, that it's all in a state of mind and you control the mechanism of this thing, right? So your little voice is coming in chirping like, hey, right? And this dominant Juggernaut voice is coming in like, calmate, you are now healed, right? And there's room, right? And we start to skyrocket. So that's the way I want you to really control your self-talk, is understand if you had like a the most dangerous, respectable, unadulterated, compassionate version of you, right? Okay, let me just see what Prosper is saying. Hold on. No, insects are not necessarily bad. They can tell you warnings, especially flies. They're persistent and could tell you in times ahead. You should tap into that persistence. Right. I'm not saying be afraid of that completely, right? Don't just bypass it and be like, this is demonic, right, or something. Yes, animals from all sides of the spiritual world are teachers and messengers, and we should see them as that, right? But I'm just noticing that that's a very common thing, right? Around people who are trying to be in the light, the darkness always comes in, right? To swoop you back to your old ways, old habits, old timelines. So I'm going to teach you guys a way that you release your cravings, okay? You guys have cravings for anything? Type it in the comments, man. What do you crave? Like, what is something that you just can't stop eating, bro? Is it Doritos? What is it? Okay, tell me. Mine used to be Nutella. I used to be obsessed with Nutella. Until I learned the hard way where, you know, an entire Nutella jar smashed on my floor, okay? It taught me a lesson, a valuable lesson. But let me know what you guys are really obsessed with, right? Midnight snacking. What's your favorite thing, right? Is it chocolate? Chocolate, right? Borikua says chocolate cravings I have, but we'll get banned from YouTube. That's funny. Soda, sugar in the middle of the night. Oh, soda. Yeah. The fizziness of soda. Got it. Now, okay. Think of that thing. Okay. Close your eyes and imagine that thing that you're really obsessed with, that craving, the thing that you're craving, and notice all its attributes. So maybe you're seeing it very close to you, so you say, it's close to me, it's on the table, it's very big, it's shiny, it's large, right? Prosper says strong indica, okay, great. So it's big, right? It's glowing. Maybe it's in color. Maybe it feels very sharp, HD, right? Just describe it to yourself. What does it look like? Does it have a halo effect around it, like a, oh, okay? In your mind, how does it look? Okay? So for you, Claudia, if it's soda, right? How does the soda look in your mind when you just close your eyes and tap into it? Is soda's right next to you? Do you see yourself drinking soda, right? So notice all of the attributes that come up. Now that you've done that, leave those attributes. You can even write it down, right? This is what it reminds me of, the cravings. Now I want you to imagine something that you don't crave at all, right? It's just meh. It's just meh, whatever. You're indifferent to it, okay? Think about some kind of food, something, oats, bread, okay? Water, just, you know, something that's just very bland, very neutral, okay? Good. Now think of that in your mind's eye. Close your eyes and think about that. Maybe it's more far away from you, right? Beef, okay? Yeah, there you go. Right? So maybe you just imagine that and then you notice the attributes of that, okay? So maybe it's like, okay, yeah, it's just a little far away from me. It's maybe in black and white. Maybe it's a little bit hazy. You know, what are you seeing with that beef borikua, right? So what is coming up in regards to that? All the attributes. Maybe it's very, very far away from you on the table, right? Now, I want you to take those two images and superimpose them and cluster them up in your mind's eye. Good. Let go. Good. Now imagine the attributes have flipped. Okay? The attributes have flipped. So that means that for me, if I were imagining Nutella, I would see the Nutella very far away from me, very blurry, fuzzy, kind of black and white, old silent movie, like a Charlie Chaplin movie, right? Very far away from me. Okay? And that, just reassociating the thing you're very addicted to or craving, and now you've superimposed it and then changed the attributes of it, with the thing that's just you're indifferent towards. So now when you perceive that thing, you're going to see it differently. It's not this intense glowing orb in your mind's eye close to the table next to you. It's far away, it's distant, you know, yeah, it'll happen, whatever, right? So thumbs up, guys, if this helped you out, like this technique, because this is powerful stuff, right? If you really understand how to optimize these kinds of techniques, they're instantaneous shifts that we can experience, okay? So try this with it could be any craving, right? So you say, let's say you're trying to quit, well, I'm off of everything this month, okay? No smoking, no drinking, no nothing. It's complete sobriety, which is going to be very challenging, I feel. I'm going to be challenged many, many times, okay? However, I think it is going to bring us towards the next level of some sort. That's what I'm getting. And I'm also sensing I probably get to finally channel Hanuman tonight. So if you guys are interested in that, definitely tap in, okay? This is going to be an experimental one, but it's going to be an epic one, okay? So yeah, square, okay? So powerful, okay? Very, very powerful. Now, let me just go back to this. Yeah, Hanuman, yeah. So remember, okay? I see a chocolate cow now. That's funny, right? That's so hilarious. Right? They're trying to say "om" backwards. All right, so, oh, Mia's here. What's up? The milk, the milk mafia. That's great. That's fantastic. Okay. But whenever your amygdala fires up, guys, when you're in that fear, when you're scared, all you got to do, close your eyes and look left to right. Left, right, left, right. With your eyes closed. You can also do it with your eyes open, but it looks kind of weird, like you're just checking everybody out. Like you're going to look sketchy doing that in public. If you want to do that, go ahead, right? Still shuts off your amygdala. But I would say, or at least it soothes it. It's like a soothing balm, right? So let's say that you're about to do something, you feel that fear, you feel that tension. You just close your eyes, take a deep breath, and look left and right with your eyes, almost like you're scanning a room. So if this involves another person, let's say it involves your brother or something, you got into an argument with your brother, you imagine your brother in the same room as you, and you just observe the environment, like left, right, with your eyes closed, right? You just go left, right, like there's no danger around. That's essentially what we're doing with this amygdala practice. And it's very quick, right? This is Juggernaut July. So this is going to be like rewiring your brain and making it adaptable for the modern world. That's what we're looking for, okay? You're not a caveman or cavewoman anymore. However, you still got to respect your primal nature, right? You got to understand that. And you got to get over all of these conditionings and things. Anyway, guys, I wanted to tap into this book. If you can get this book, I highly recommend it. Okay, it's one of my favorites. This book, Eastern Body, Western Mind by Anandia Judith, this sums up a lot of the bioenergetics core wound stuff with the chakra system stuff. So if there's ever like a gap in your mind, like, I don't get it, guys. Like, how does this become this, or this other thing become this other thing, right? So, yeah. How does Sun Knight have to do with Juggernaut energy, root chakra? Yeah, I would say it's basically root chakra becoming the sacral, right? So it's like it's the cup holding water. So Ryan G, you're gonna have to find how Sun Knight holds King Jin properly, basically. Okay. Okay, sis. Okay. So, man, I have to re-find it now. Okay. Chakra blockages, okay? Basically, the way to sum this up, guys, is the name of the book is Eastern Body, Western Mind, okay? Psychology and the chakra system as a path to the self, okay? AIDS 333, let's go! Let's go! Okay, giving back to the community, let's go. So, chakras, use it or lose it. Okay, chakra blockages. We've all experienced times when the free flow of our energy seems blocked. Habitual blocks fall into categories that relate to chakra function. For instance, if communication is difficult for us, we could have a block in our fifth chakra. If we live in fear and submission, you could have your power chakra blocked, or navel chakra, solar plexus. If your physical health or personal finances are in crisis, you have a block in the first chakra. Okay? So what blocks a chakra? Childhood traumas, cultural conditioning, limited limited belief systems, restricted or exhausting habits, physical and emotional injuries, or just the lack of attention to the chakras themselves, right? We bypass it. Okay? Third eye, whatever, dude. Okay? Heart chakra, what are you talking about? Okay, there are those people out there that aren't tapped into it and they ignore it, right? That's also causing chakra blockage because you're not paying attention to them. If you just pay attention to them, you'll notice the energy raising and flowing. And for the adepts, we have a card, and it's going to be activated on the 3rd. I'm going to activate mine on the 3rd. I don't know about you guys. But yeah, it's powerful. I'm working on mine. Good. You can also try some chakra clearing with us, Borikua. Join the Telegram group. Also see if you can make it to the channeling tonight, because, well, it's tonight for me. I don't know the timings for you. It would be 12 a.m. IST, Indian Standard Time. So check what that is for you. Maybe if you're... Are you in America, or where are you located? So knowing that. But anyway, what when 4 a.m. in Utah. Okay, got it. Yeah, it'd probably be morning time for you. Then I don't know what time you wake up if you're a night owl, because you're clearly watching this from your nighttime now. Or you wake up super early. That's cool too. When difficulties persist, coping strategies become chronic patterns, okay, anchored in the body and psyche as defense structures. Now, eventually these defenses create holding patterns in our musculature, which restrict the free flow of energy, okay? Oh, you work all night, okay. And then even when real threats cease to exist, okay? So, the chronic tension that you're feeling is also known as body armor, okay? Body armoring. It affects your posture. It affects your metabolism. It affects your breathing. It affects your emotional states, as well as perceptions, interpretations, belief systems. And obviously, when the mind-body system is affected, we see manifestations in work, relationships, creativity, etc. Right? What begins as a small fear can grow into a full-blown phobia. So habitual anger alienates a person from their friends. That creates more isolation, causing them to be more angry. Do you guys see that? It's a loop. Clinging in relationships creates abandonment, which increases one's tendency to hold on to relationships. You guys get this? So we may be unable to get our liberating current off the ground. So we have to find ourselves continuously thrown back into survival issues. Now, if we are unable to receive a particular kind of energy, then the chakra atrophies and becomes further limited. Okay? So we begin to stagnate and it becomes a closed system, not like an open restaurant where, customers are flowing in and out. Okay? So in any of these cases, we're incomplete and unbalanced in our experience of life. So unblocking a chakra requires addressing the problem on multiple levels. Number 1, understanding the dynamics of that particular chakra that you're deficient in. By the way, this book has all the chakra deficiencies. You can check it out, okay? And it associates it towards your bioenergetic character structure, okay? Your core wounds. Next, examine the personal history related to that chakra's issues. If you've ever done a healing session with us, this gets handled automatically, okay? Next is you apply exercises and techniques. And finally, balance excess or deficiency. Not all blocks are the same. However, even in the same chakra, different blocks require different kinds of healing. Okay? Now, you might also have a very particular chakra path working that's very individual to you. Okay? So the way that your chakra works is maybe you're more so a power chakra person, like you're always in action, you're always go, 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 right? For you, the solar plexus might be a good idea, okay? However, be wary of this. An excessive one can also start to cause problems because the other ones seem malnourished or underfed according to that. Like the solar plexus has to be open and flowing so that it can give you the communication, right? The feeling of warmth, compassion, and love in your heart. It makes you feel like you can actually express your emotions through your sacral, okay? So just, you have your main chakra, but then you also got to work on the other ones to almost give that one dominant chakra path working more leverage, right? More leverage for you to crush it, more leverage for you to show up and do what you need to do, okay? Now, coming back to the title of this video, the word scared is scrambled form of the word sacred. So really, the fear might just be your call to action. The resistance becomes the reason for you to lean in and face your fears, right? So when you feel that uncertainty, you go, instead of like, I send my answer in image form to you via Telegram. Got it. I'll check after, Ryan, because this is on my phone. So this is the powerful construct that you're going to have to create, okay, for yourself right now. This month is going to be all about you accomplishing your goals, okay? Accomplishing what you really need to do, what you've been putting off, okay? The things you've been putting off, and dropping all the things that don't serve you any longer. The Juggernaut June energy is releasing all the heavy anchors weighing you down and giving yourself the fuel to move forward with this energy, okay? So it's going to be powerful because my fear is speaking in a group, okay? Well, that might be your challenge. You might be called towards speaking in one of our, events or something. Who knows, right? Just break through that, right? Rip off the Band-Aid, because that's the thing that really is just like holding us back. We know it, right? It's our golden shadow. And there's a reason why we fear public speaking too, because evolutionary, it's all evolutionary, right? But we got to understand we are not those cavemen, cavewomen anymore, but we still got to respect that caveman nature, that cavewoman nature, right? We got to give them love. It's just right now, it's just a hairy man trapped, in a cage, okay? Like a beast, like a monster trapped in a cage right now, okay? Or a very wild woman, okay? Trapped, just like not being able to express herself, right? Like you can't put a butterfly in a jar and expect it to transform, right? You can't expect a bud that's going to turn into a flower, right? If the bud stops growing, it dies, right? So you got to keep growing in this thing. But the way you grow is by giving yourself choice and freedom. By giving yourself choice, by understanding you are the cause of your life, okay? Knocked around like a pool ball by other people and their energies are too domineering or whatever, you got to understand you have spiritual endurance and fuel, okay? You got to come back to that realization. You are a juggernaut in the spiritual realm. So that's what I want you guys to understand, okay? Priest and priestess beasts listening, you got to understand this. If you want to become strong again, the strength is found through being virtuous, by dropping your vices, okay? Make your vices into devices so you can cut them off. Okay, that was a download I got from Ma Durga. Yeah, Astral Warrior. Let's go. Okay? The cosmic soldier. You can say it in many different ways. Okay? The priest beast. The savage shaman. Okay? This is what it is. This is the path working. This is what we're being summoned here for to do. We are here to capture all of our mentors and have them embodied within us, like Yu-Gi-Oh, right? We summon the monster to take care of the business, okay? And don't make your business busyness. Make your business a bus, an energy bus, okay? Je suis, as I said, Jesus, I am, okay? You gotta come back to that realization, okay? Who are you really? Are you the body? Are you the mind? Are you the, what are you? Who are you? We can say you're that pure, changeless awareness and witness, okay? You are what watches this whole thing. You are the watcher. And there's a part of your consciousness that loves hearing that and understands that. But then there's also an ego part of you that goes, yeah, I know that, whatever, right? And we forget about it. We really start to forget. So why not come back into our rawness, our realness again this month? Okay, I'm seeing a lot of spiritual coaches with a lot of pretense. Okay, yeah, fluffy light work. Hey, yeah, high vibe, high vibe, high vibe, high vibe. Okay, high vibe is great, but you got to embody that high vibe, my friend. You can't just start talking about it and being whimsical. Okay, not Yu-Gi-Oh. Okay. Well, Yu-Gi-Oh helped us create our trap card, right, Kim? So yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh helped us. You've summoned my trap card, right? That thing really helped us. Or Magic the Gathering, or any other card game for that matter, right? We understood how to use this in the field, in the realm of spiritual warfare. We understand it, right? Because if someone has bad intentions for you and they're sending it to you, you might be a receiver. You're receptive to that information, and you absorb it, you believe it. It's the looking glass self. If someone says, you know what, you're a piece of shit, or whatever, right? And you believe that, you actually take on that thing, that thought form, and you drop your own power plexus, okay? Hey, how is that one person's opinion, right, going through your security system like that? I like Magic the Gathering. Yeah, Magic the Gathering was insane. I think there was like a game center. Was it also a GameStop? Maybe. There was like a gaming place I remember I went to, and they had these Magic the Gathering tournaments, man. People dressed up as elves and shit. All with the red deck. All in with the red deck, okay? Activating my trap card, okay? Suck my deck. Okay. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for listening and tuning in. Okay, this is the book, once again. Kim, I know you missed this, okay? Eastern Body, Western Mind. Find the overlaps, okay, between these two things, okay? Let's get it this month. I know it's going to be tough. We might experience some withdrawal symptoms if you guys are, going off of any bad habits. Just tap in, Just tap in, listen, engage, ask the tribe. Just be like, let's say that you're quitting smoking this month, and you're getting cravings, okay? All right, take care, Kim. Good night. Or good day, or whatever, right? So, yeah. Okay, guys? It's powerful. Let's tap in. Let's never be the same again. Thank you for tuning in. Shout out to all of the Primal Sutra family that guides us, that helps us. They're flow state deities that are so protective, so healing, and they help us with our shadow work and golden shadow work. And may we continue to thrive and prosper as adepts of this path working, as priests and priestess beasts. And let's be juggernauts this month. We're unstoppable. Let's get it. Upward spiral, gang. You're welcome.